the vision that I shared in our pursuit of excellency in this institution. Secondly, I would also like to wholeheartedly thank my family and Marika and our 3 children, and Namasiku, Kamui, and Lumba, for the sacrifices they make and the encouragement that they provide to me with patience every day. I'm stepping in the shoes of an academic giant, a man of incomparable measure, a philosopher of note, and a leader who has been awarded several accolades also abroad. I do so in humility. While it's an honor and privilege for me to serve in this capacity, I'm acutely aware that this role is a major responsibility that goes beyond the confines of the office, the confines of this institution, and it goes beyond UNAM. It is a responsibility that requires all of us to function in unit of purpose. Without unity, we can't succeed. During my public presentation on the 29th of June, I said we must now ready ourselves for administrative and academic transformation in order to guarantee the sustainability of UNAM. My predecessors, Professor Peter Kachavivi and Professor Lazarus Angola, respectively, both of whom I offer my profound gratitude, have laid solid foundations upon which we will continue to build nationally impactful programs across the country. As it happens, I'm an alumnus of this institution. I have studied with many of you. I have served as a student leader here. I have been taught by some of you. I see several of you in my bachelor degree. I have also taught some of you who are now academics in several faculties, particularly those coming from geography. I have worked with some of the students and with many of you staff members for many years. I want you to know that I believe in you. I really want you to know that I believe in you. I know the hard work and commitment you make to make UNAM an institution of international repute. Leading such an organized team of talented and professional cadres makes me proud but humbled at the same time. I can assure you that I will continue to create an enabling environment for all of us to release and maximize the potential and talents that God has endowed us with. We need to turn every opportunity and talent that we have into success. Together with my colleagues in management, I'm committing myself to work very hard with all stakeholders, students, staff, trade unions, other higher education institutions in the country, the private sector, the NGOs, UN agencies, as well as our international strategic partners, to ensure we achieve our new vision and implement a strategic plan in order to deliver on the objectives we have set for ourselves. So what is the new vision? My vision for UNAM is to be a sustainable international hub of higher education, training, research, and innovation by 2030. We have less than 12 years to achieve this vision. This great vision, which is shared by many of you, becomes effective today. From today onwards, everything we do must be aligned to this vision. I invite you to contribute to its achievement. It is my commitment to draw on our collective strength, intellect, and courage to make this vision and its ensuing plans a reality. Later today, I will appoint a 6-member team that will re-examine the restructuring report and find the best way forward for our institution in the context of current economic situation, but also to take into account global trends in structures and operations of academic institutions. They will be expected to complete their work by end of the month. Individually and collectively, we must now future pace ourselves and imagine how UNAM will look like by 2030. We need to visualize it now in order to work to its achievement. So visualize it today and work together to achieve it by making our necessary adjustments to how we conduct ourselves. We will not be able to achieve this vision if we continue to function in the way we have been. It requires all of us to have certain behavioral changes. I know, as you are, that our current challenges are many, and they are complex. They are many and complex. Graduate employability, for example, remains a challenge in some disciplines, not in all, but in some disciplines. For this reason, it is now time that we re-examine the relevance, quality, standards, and cost-effectiveness of the academic programs that we run. We also need to re-examine the admin structures that we have, whether they are serving the purpose that we intend to achieve. We will do so taking into account the World Economic Forum's report titled The Future of Jobs and Skills, Employability, Skills and Workforce Strategy for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. As you know, some of you have read that report. It identifies 10 top skills that would be needed in the future. So what we do, and in the concepts of this vision, we will take those recommendations and contextualize them to our situation. We must train jobs for the future. So expect that in the coming months, several decisions will be made to review our curriculums, but also to align curriculum objectives to our institutional strategic plan so that they are in sync. Our curriculum must be revised such that they respond in ways that best suit our mission and future developmental objectives of this country. These realignments will enable our UNAM to reinforce and capitalize on our internal strength, eliminate redundancies, and maximize our opportunities and the limited resources at our disposal. This institution has the highest concentration of brain power, and we must capitalize on that. This also means I will be turning to you as experts to do some of these assignments rather than having to ask for consultancies from elsewhere. As I said in my presentation, I am not a boss and I don't know anything. I know very little out of the world's knowledge, only a dot. And therefore, I am prepared to learn from yourselves, including from students. As we move forward, we must have consolidated faculties with strong, unique skills. It doesn't help us if we are not consolidating and working together as teams. So part of the assignment of the task force I referred to earlier would be to looking at whether certain faculties can be put together. I'm setting a new direction today, and the rest of the issues must be agreed upon from bottom up. But the direction is being set. My ultimate objective is to create a stronger, more cohesive university that is ready to tackle the complex challenges of the 21st century and that is able to maximize the benefits of the fourth industrial revolution. As you know, the resources needed for UNAM to function optimally are rather limited and continues to diminish. For this reason, the Vice-Chancellor, whom I succeed today, together with the PVC for Finance and Administration, contacted our colleagues at the Association of African Universities, and we are conducting this week a resource mobilization training for all our leaders. Resource mobilization is not a one-person's task. It's for all of us to use and leverage the networks that we have to the benefit of the institution. But also, taking into account these financial challenges we face, our council vehicle that the university can use to take advantage of its strength. My office will ensure that we fully implement and operationalize Inceptors. Because it's maybe the first time for some of you to know this, I would like to dwell on it a little bit. Inceptors is a commercial entity wholly owned by the University of Namibia. The purpose of this company is to serve as a trading body for the commercialization of UNAM's intellectual property, assets, and business ventures. This entity should significantly contribute to the financial sustainability of UNAM and reduce dependency on the state. I will soon issue a directive to make it clear what the functional focus of UNAM Foundation is as opposite to the functions of Inceptors and UCCB. Please support me in achieving this objective. In addition, we now have some advice in the form of a financial strategy document for the University of Namibia that has been produced by our Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences. I thank them for their work and help me in expressing that gratitude to them. I'm studying the proposals contained in that report very carefully, and together with my colleagues in management, we will make decisions soon. I know that you have expressed concerns for increase of salaries through the unions. I plead for your understanding while we do everything possible under the circumstances. I also know in some respects that our students face certain challenges and their concerns that they want to be addressed. And so the challenges are many. But we must perceive these challenges as opportunities to make a real difference to our institution and to the Namibian people. We are not the first to face economic downturn, and we will not be the last to go through a recession. There are many lessons we can learn from others who have gone through this, and we need to take those into account. It is for higher education to respond in circumstances like this. It belongs to us as higher education institution as one of those sectors that are of strategic interest. Higher education has a purpose. It is to prepare ready minds to contribute to national self-reliance and competitiveness and resilience, to contribute to the shaping of character of our people, and to sustain national values and identity. We must therefore ask ourselves, in terms of the curriculums that we have, are we contributing to self-reliance and national competitiveness or not? Higher education also has a unique role to both to critique the status quo, but also to prepare individuals who can rise and function to the new challenges that society may face at any given time. In a way, we are the nation's midwife. We are to nurse the nation's newborn challenges as they emerge. To clarify this point, let me give you an example. In the 1960s, the United Kingdom created a task force on higher education. That time, that nation also had challenges. In its report, the task force, which was called the Robbins Task Force, in the Robbins report, it states that universities were tasked with 4 functions. One is instruction in skills. 2, the promotion of the general powers of the mind, so as to produce not mere specialists, but cultivated men and women. 3rd, it was also, the universities are also tasked to search for the truth without fear or favor. And lastly, they are tasked with the transmission of a common culture and common standards of citizenship. Common standards of citizenship. Today, we must ask ourselves, are we rising to these functions? What values are we projecting as UNAM so that those comes to all citizens in the country? The search for truth does not mean that we must play the role of opposition party. It means we must, and indeed we should, advance science for its own sake, but we are also duty-bound to be relevant and to be the thought leaders of this nation. While it is okay to pursue, for example, a study on the sexual behavior of the desert dung beetle, we must also think about what society is grappling with. What is our response to poverty, to food security, to poor sanitation, and so on? The nation looks up to us to respond to those challenges while we advance science at the same time. Universities also have a role to advance knowledge, as I said, without fear or favor. I want us to stand for responsible academic freedom. I believe universities are also for the public good. They are for the public good. Therefore, I stand for a relevant university. We can't just be advancing science that is not relevant. This is why our mission, the new mission that speaks to our vision, is to contribute to the achievement of national and international development goals through the pursuit of translational research, quality training and service. The central engine in the vehicle we deploy to achieve this mission is yourselves, academics. I share the view of Eugene Rice, who wrote in the 1960s, from an epistemic point of view, in other words, from the point of view that knowledge evolves, when he argued that what it means to be a professor, for example, is to accentuate truth based on validated assumptions. What are those assumptions? 1, research must be central to professional endeavor, and that it must be the focus of academic life. You are therefore going to be expected to rethink about what kind of research we do and how we make that part of our life. Number 2, quality in higher education is maintained by peer review and professional autonomy, and not popularist science. Popularist science is when you claim a medical breakthrough on the basis of a compound activity. You cannot.